There's like situations where they'll pull out a piece of product. They're like, is this okay to use? And my theory is if you have to question it, you throw it out. And that starts from there. And I know tons of restaurants that of course I'll never name, but they would use it, and that's not what we're about. It's about quality. Quality is from the top with consistency. Everything that goes out has to look the same, appear the same, taste the same. And if you drive that into your employees from the beginning, they'll understand that and they'll be on board with you.
So Erik, Taco King.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it.
That's it.
Hey, I can say it.
Sounds
Taco
good.
King, bro. What's up, dude?
Not much, man. Just been really busy lately, trying to stay focused and a lot of work and trying to grow the brand as best as I can.
Yeah, you're probably one of the best brand builders I've ever met in my life.
Coming from you, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Dude. I mean, hey, man, I appreciate that you even saying coming from you. I appreciate that you have that respect for your boy, but...
Oh, of course.
Dude, it's like I tell people, it's like Korn, like that band. Like when you really think about it, who the fuck would name their band Korn?
Right.
One of the stupidest things you could ever do. But nobody makes fun of them anymore.
Right.
Because they established that we are the shit. And same to you, man. You could probably put up a picture of a dog and a blue dog, and you'd still be like, the branding is amazing because your taco is amazing.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. We try really hard to always put out the best product, and that's the biggest thing with us, consistency. So I think it's finally paying off. You can come in on a Tuesday, a Saturday, a Sunday, and it should always be the same.
It always is the same.
Yeah.
How hard do you work on consistency and well, I know you work hard on consistency. How do you make that happen?
From the bottom. Like you start from the top. Like a second your employee walks in, first thing you drive to them in their head is consistency. I'm very, like, what my employees always kind of tease me about is that I am meticulous. I'll notice everything at all times. I'm always cognizant of what's going on. I'll walk by something and be like, why isn't that on? Or I'll say something like little things that they'll end up picking up and understanding that I'm always paying attention to details. So when I tell you something, and not in a bad way, not like in a demanding way, but when I expect something done, it's going to be done the way I like it. Not being, disrespectful or like pressuring or anything like that, like a mean boss, but they understand what I'm trying to do and what our brand is about. So, when I interview you, when I bring you in and you're on board, what my standard is. There's no standard. There's like situations where they'll pull out a piece of product. They're like, is this okay to use? And my theory is if you have to question it, you throw it out. And that starts from there. And I know tons of restaurants that of course I'll never name, but they would use it, and that's not what we're about. It's about quality. Quality is from the top with consistency. Everything that goes out has to look the same, appear the same, taste the same. And if you drive that into your employees from the beginning, they'll understand that and they'll be on board with you, and that they do it second nature. They don't even realize that they're doing what you're asking of them to that consistency level, without even noticing. They'll come in and, I'll say, every bag gets a menu, for example. Every single bag gets a menu. And I'll pay attention when there's not. I'll say, why didn't they get a menu? Or little things like, I don't know, utensils. That's huge to me. I don't know why, but I drive into my guys' lunchtime, every bag gets a utensil. I don't care how much they cost. And on top of that, I get quality utensils. So when you don't get pissed off when you get to your shop, you go to eat your quesadilla and your fork bends.
Yeah,
that's annoying. That's cheap to me, So consistency with that, like, how upset would you get if you got to your office that has no utensils and you don't have a fork? Mm-hmm. It sounds like a little, but it's going to leave a bad taste in your mouth. The food could be great, but you're going to be like, it's annoying.
It is annoying.
Now,
I remember you told me the story about when shit was hitting the fan, COVID, or it was hard to get supplies. You went and drove and purchased like every available takeout container you could find.
It's about consistency. I refuse to use something different or of lesser quality. And I drove to Norristown and I bought every single case of takeout containers they had, which at the time was like 35. I put them in the passenger seat, the back of my truck, like in my kids' car seats. It was just stuff. But I was like, it's either this or switch to styrofoam, which I refuse because to me that looks cheap.
Ugh, yeah.
And it's just it's tasteless. It's just not. People use it, good for them, but it's just multiple reasons. It's not sustainable. I'm really big with that, and it just doesn't look good. Presentation's not good. Back to consistency. You know, if you get a different takeout container, you're gonna be like, whoa, that's a little off-putting. We don't like change, and you know, you see your takeout container. That's going to give you the question in your mind: is the food the same? Is something changed?
Subconscious,
right? Like it really upset me. I had to change my takeout cups for my guac and sides and everything like that because they're just out, and I usually buy a lot, and they just haven't had it, and I had to change it to white. Something simple. I just didn't like it. I didn't like it. It doesn't, and it just made me feel uncomfortable to do so. Because of that, because of the change and putting that subconscious in their mind with like, well, did the guac change? And like to me, the guac is, I am super particular about that.
Yeah.
Like I am, my guys tease me all the time. I am so particular. Like I'll randomly, like if I have someone of the guys making guac, I'll randomly go over and taste it. And I can tell you right off the bat that they didn't do the exact portions of what like we grind our salt fresh for every guac, squeeze the lime fresh for every guac. I mean, everything is done fresh, so I know how many turns of the grinder they did or did not do. Like I'm that good with it. Like I'm that particular with it.
It's amazing guac.
But it has to be the same every time.
Right.
But even down to the chips, though. You know, the chips, I know how much salt you should be using. Why isn't it too much? Is it over? The chips are overcooked, undercooked, how long they've been there. Like, we go through a lot of chips, and our chips don't go stale. But, like, little things like that I pay attention to all the time. Like, I'm not there, but I'm telling you, I know what's going on.
And that's the thing that I find very, very remarkable is that you're not there all the time. I remember when you used to be there all the time. I mean, everybody is in the beginning.
Right.
But I've been noticing the more I go there, you're not there all the time, which is refreshing because I know you need a break.
Yep.
But the food's always the same.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, now the reason I'm not there is I am taking a little bit more time, which I appreciate and love. But it's just the food truck, man. The food truck this year literally was the most remarkable thing I've ever done this year. It was wild. We did some of the most humbling, massive catering events and like things that I had never in like a million years thought I would even land. And I don't even know how I landed it, but it was just, it was pretty dope.
What's taste? It's taste.
Yeah, I mean, we did Cartec. Like to me, that was like, there's no way. They're like, yeah, we want to do catering. I was like, cool. They probably want, the office catered, with the food truck, absolutely, of course. But like, we want you to feed everybody. I'm like, could you elaborate on the word everybody?
Yeah.
They're like, all of the workers. I was like, okay. Can you give me a number? They're like, yeah, 5,300, 5,328. I'm like, what? They're like, we want you to feed all of them. I was like, okay. And the way my mind works is always say yes.
Of course.
And figure it out. Like in the back after I hung up the phone, I'm like, holy shit, how am I going to do this?
Right.
Like, and it was just like, it was a logistical equation that I have no idea to this day how we pulled off. It was nuts. It was all hands on deck. I closed the restaurant because there's just no way. And when Cartec calls, you just do what they ask.
Yeah.
It was pretty humbling, pretty amazing. So
how do you keep consistency in a food truck serving 5,300 people?
I don't know. I'm being very honest with you. I think starting with the food truck really helped me, as opposed to starting with the restaurant and going to a food truck. Completely different animals. The food truck is a lot more difficult because of the logistical aspect of having to move everything. Mm-hmm. But consistency started in the food truck. So for me, I'm not really sure how to even answer that. It's just that's where I knew to start consistency anyway. The presentation. I use great quality plates on the truck. Like every little detail comes with that. It's easier now to maintain that consistency now because we have that restaurant to prep everything, to kind of hold everything, do all that stuff. So you just bring it on. It's the same concept essentially. It's just a much faster pace. And then serving that many people, you just have to break it down. How can you be as efficient as possible without sacrificing quality? Speed, and like instead of us topping the tacos, I created like 3 buffet lines. so everybody can be serve themselves as far as the toppings go. So you just give them, the base, and they just do their own thing, which actually works out better because especially some of those guys, not construction guys, factory guys, they want something a little more hearty and stuff like that. So some of them want onion, some of them don't. So instead of playing with that modification, let them do their thing. Mm-hmm. So that when they come up, what would you like? Steak, chicken, pork. Done. I'm serving, my gosh, when we did Penske, I think we served 1,500 people in an hour and a half.
I was going to ask you, how long did it take to do 5,300?
Well, we broke it down to 4 days.
4 days. Okay.
Yeah, we had 4 days. Each day we had 2 locations that we were doing, like 2 spots that we were doing at the same time. So it wasn't terrible. It's because we've done bigger events, but we were serving about 500 people at each location every day ish, like fluctuating. But it was intense. The hardest part was the prep. Service in a food truck is always the easiest thing. Preparation, logistical stuff, setup. Like I care about my quality and I care about my serve times and all that stuff. So I take that into account. I figure things out that way, and it's the hardest thing for that is bringing enough product and not running out. That's the most difficult thing. And I've gotten down to a science now, but that was very difficult to not over prep for obvious reasons, not lose product, but also under prep. Every single event I go to, when you hire me, I will never run out. Like never. Maybe I'll run out of, rarely I'll run out of one protein because everybody jumped on it. Okay, right. That happens, but very, very rarely. My thing is I never run out because I never want to leave any of your guests or employees, whoever it is, not satisfied. If they come up to the truck and want a steak taco, they're going to get their steak taco. If they want a veggie taco, shrimp taco, whatever we have on the menu that day, they're going to get. It doesn't matter how many people it is, including Cartec. Things like that are very important to me. Part of why I feel like the food truck is so successful is because we're always reliable. We always show up. We're on time. We're presentable. We're easy to work with. My catering menu there's no hidden fees. There's no this. Super easy. You want me to go to the food truck? Tell me how many people and I'll show up. This is our menu. You want to add stuff? Great. If you don't, no big deal. We're very laid back. I'm not down your throat to pay me. I'm not down your throat to leave a deposit. I'm not about that. I still love the food. I still love what I do and why I do it. So I think that's why I'm so laid back with it. I'm not there to give me my money. Right. Of course I'm there for that too. Yeah. But I'm not jumping down your throat to pay me because I know a lot of food trucks that are like that. That are, hey, I need you to pay me before I show up. I do the opposite. Enjoy your party. Pay me after your party. The day after. You're good. Especially weddings. I do that your due time's a week after. I'm not going to ask you the day before your wedding. You got enough stuff going on. Right on. I'm still a person. I'm still cognizant of that. I know you're going to pay me. Nobody has not ever paid me. Your money's still there. So why do you care if it's a week late or a week early? You know what I mean? With the food truck business. With the food truck business. It's a little bit different in other things, but I just feel like that's why we have so many returning customers, especially with our catering or food truck and stuff like that, because we're so easy to work with. Even Cartec, she's like, I don't know who else I would have done this with because you were a pleasure and easy to work with. I was like, yeah, it's my job to do the work for you. You just tell me what I need to serve, where, when, I'll do the rest. Just make it as seamless as possible with that stuff. I think that's what I enjoy about the food truck the most. And what we do really well with that.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's been a wild year, man. This year has definitely tested my patience and my ability and our capability to do a lot of things. Like yesterday, we were at the Sixers game. That was really cool, man. That was pretty humbling. That was dope.
What was the deal with that?
So it was Berks Catholic. It's called, what's that business club they do? It used to be called FBLA, Future Business Leaders of America.
I remember that.
But it's something different now.
DECA?
DECA, yeah.
I had DECA when I was in high school.
Yeah, DECA. That's what it transitioned to. So DECA, they brought the kids out. They got a tour of the Wells Fargo Center and all that. But last year, I guess they ran into the problem that they didn't have any food. And they didn't want the kids spending all that money on the food too inside. So they just hired us.
And you were allowed to bring a food truck there and serve them food.
Kind of like I don't know.
Oh, maybe they knew, maybe they didn't know.
I don't know. I mean, they did because we had to go through the gate, but I don't know. It was kind of like a gray area. I mean, they organized it. They called it. They're like, it's okay. You know, like it's a caterer. You know, we're not selling food. We're just serving the kids. You know, we're not selling food to like everybody. Yeah,
right.
Which I understand that. I do. But yeah, I don't know, man. But it was pretty cool. We got some cool pictures because we got there early. Like with the food trucks and the Wells Fargo Center in the background. That was really cool.
Yeah, I saw that on your socials yesterday.
Yeah, that was really cool.
I was actually interested in, I thought you were selling tacos. I think I texted you.
I know. No, I wanted, I won't push it. You know what I mean?
Of course not. Yeah.
But I have taken, when we still had our canopy set up way back in the day, when Mexico played at the link for the Gold Cup, we took our food setup and we just gave tacos out for free. So when the World Cup comes around this time, I'm going to do the same thing.
Yeah, dude.
I'm taking the food truck and I'm just giving out free tacos.
Wow.
It's going to be dope. I can't wait.
Awesome.
I already have it planned. We're going to it's going to be a whole big thing.
I think it is going to be a whole big thing because I've been talking with Mike from Mimo's. Yeah. And he was like, dude, we got to go to the World Cup. I'm like, yeah,
I'm
dude.
going.
Yeah.
I wanted to go this year, but I couldn't make it. Mm-hmm. I couldn't make it. But yeah, man, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be a rager, dude.
It's gonna be nuts.
Yeah,
like if
they're doing Jersey and the link.
If businesses aren't capitalizing on that on something somehow, man, and then like preparing now, I have so many cool ideas that we're gonna do.
Well, you've always had great ideas, dude. You've always been able to pivot, and we all know during COVID.
Yeah, that was tough.
You coming up with Tacos for Heroes was amazing.
Yeah.
And now your brick and mortar in very short time. You just celebrated 3, right?
3 years, yeah.
Dude, 3 years from just like, oh yeah, I'm going to open this brick and mortar during COVID. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Oh man, I lost like 10 years of my life on that.
Oh man, but I mean, my wife and I, we love you. We love your place. You know, we always speak highly of you, and we love how humble you are.
Well, thank you.
You know, and that's probably your greatest asset is that you know you're a bad motherfucker, man. But you don't ever say I'm a bad motherfucker. You're just
I'll never say that.
I'm just Erik. You know, I'm just doing my thing.
Yeah, no, like I was telling my guys, I was like, I wish I could just do the food and never be the face of it. I appreciate it. Don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. I appreciate when I go out to dinner and somebody says something. You know, I truly love that because of the food is speaking volumes. But I just want the food there, not me.
No, I hear you. But there's. I mean, that is your greatest asset. And I think we love, I'll tell you one thing, knowing you is like almost knowing a rock star.
No way.
Erik. No. You know how cool it is that I can, like, I'll go, I go to bring the dishes back and I go sneak into the back just for a second and be like, what's up, man?
Yeah.
The fact that I can even do that.
Of course, man. You're always welcome.
I'm like, yeah, dude, I know the guy. I know that guy. You know, I know the guy that runs this joint, you know?
Yeah, no, I mean, I appreciate that. I appreciate the love. You've been there literally since day one. You were one of my first catering jobs with the with the trailer as well too. And
that's right, the trailer, not the truck. Yeah, the trailer. I remember that.
Yeah, that was my baby.
Yeah, I used to take the guys into the city when you were serving tacos.
Yes, I forgot about that. Yeah, those Thursday mornings for Penn Street Market.
Yeah, I took my boys there. I took my daughter there. I was like, oh, you gotta try this dude's tacos.
That was the first real gig we landed on a consistent basis. And we built like a tiny little following there. Mm-hmm. But that was really cool, man. We did a lot of learning that year.
Well, I mean, it's quality. It's quality over quantity.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that I know you spend a shit ton of cash on what you're trying to do. I mean, the fact that you buy the same containers, if you have to question anything, you throw it out. You know, that doesn't come at zero cost.
No, man, it's crazy. Like, and especially not to beat a dead horse, but the food, the food cost and everything is, my God, COVID really, really, really changed a lot. I don't know what it is, but like supply chain issues are a real thing. Mm-hmm. A real thing in the restaurant industry. I can't speak on any other industry, but it's so bad, man.
Well, they were saying that when COVID was happening and the shit was hitting the fan, they were saying, and I heard from a few people, you think it's bad now, wait for a year to 2 years from now, because you really don't understand how long that supply chain goes.
Right.
And I remember the white containers for your guacamole. Even I was like, that's weird.
They still have it now. We started doing that now.
Yeah.
It's just wild, man. Like I was telling a friend of mine, I was like, I became, instead of becoming a restaurant, I'm into storage business now. Like the garage I got next to me, I ended up making a doorway connecting both the restaurant into the garage.
So you got that joint.
I did,
Yeah.
and recently we're so busy now. I put in a massive walk-in cooler to store our product in, and I rearranged everything. We have at least 10 of everything we use cases in storage. So before, like, 5-6 years ago, when you were in the restaurant industry, you get 2-3, maybe 2 cases just to make sure you have enough for the week.
Right.
Get an order next week. No way, man. No way. And I see that all the time. Like, if I wouldn't have got these, I would have been out. Like, I ordered some containers the other week. They're like, yeah, it's 3 months out. I'm like, perfect, because I have 15 of those. And that's something I had to learn, is get more of that. Become prepared. Start following what I do is I follow the companies, the manufacturers, following what's going on with them, especially during COVID. That really taught me that, this is going on in China because, they're not bringing this in. Okay. I know my supplier uses them. So I know, stock up. Sure enough, it falls through, there's nothing there, but at least I'm prepared. And, sometimes I go into the restaurants where the guys don't even know that.
Wow.
They're like, what? And I was like, I'm telling you, dude, this is going to happen. Oil prices, like fryer oil, conventional canola oil, or we don't use canola oil as much anymore, but corn oil, extra virgin olive oil, all that stuff, it's going up. They're like, we didn't hear anything about it. Sure enough, went up 60%.
Whoa.
And every single week, it's something different, man. It'll be chicken breast. Chicken breast 2 months ago used to be, 2 months ago was at $198 a case.
That's more than when you told me a few months ago.
I used to pay $45 a case.
Oh my God.
And then avocados 8-9 months ago, my God, man, I thought I was going to, I don't even know. I'm so particular with my avocados, extremely. They come straight from Mexico. I am so adamant about it.
I can tell.
But those things that I used to pay 37, maybe 27, it would fluctuate at between 10, 15 bucks. It's normal. I was paying $160 a case. So I'm like, what am I going to do? And then the worst part is there was such a shortage that people were struggling. They would just send you whatever. So now you're getting avocados that I threw away 8 cases the one time because they were black. I'm like, oh my God. And nobody knew what was going on. And it's just oh my God. It was, man, I lost money that week. And it's just on avocados. Every guac, I just cringed. I'm like, of course you want to make it, but I'm just it's just, you're losing money. And my guac is expensive, and I know that. I know that. And I'll proudly sell it at that price because you're not getting, a chain guac. You're not getting anything. We make every single one to order with the best quality avocados you can buy. And a funny story on how I found my avocados. There's my favorite sushi place in New York City on Bryant Park uses these avocados. So I did a ton of research and found out what avocados they used. Because I remember biting into that sushi and I was like, whoa. I never pinpointed an avocado before until now. I'm like, this is wild. So I found out what they were using, and sure enough, it's this brand. And I was like, I want these, and I don't care what it takes, I'm going to get these. And supplier brings them from Passyunk, New Jersey every week.
Wow.
Yep.
How do you have the the balls to continue with what you're doing? Because you're right. I remember you telling me months, maybe last year, when you're like, dude, I used to pay this much for chicken, and now it went up 3 or 4 times, and this was a while ago.
Right.
The avocados I can see because I frequent your restaurant enough to see when prices go up. How do you still raise that price? How do you still put that out without losing your shit?
Well, I do lose my shit every time I do it. I do. I just keep it to myself. But I just, the way I look at it is I feel like I love what we do. I love the food that we put out, and I think people appreciate that, and they're willing to pay that. It's not like I'm like scamming you to get extra money, or giving you the same level of quality product that everybody else is giving you, but just charging you more for it. It's not like I'm giving you this plain bottle of water that this guy charges $1 for, but I'm going to charge you 20 just to do it. It's not that. I am still giving you the best thing I can get at all times. And my tacos are, I feel like, a different market than when you talk to somebody that wants tacos. I know there's going to be some people that are going to be disgruntled. I've had a few people that walk in, look at the menu, and they'll be like, thank you anyway, and just leave. And I know it's because of the price, and it's okay. That's perfectly okay. I'm there to give you the best quality product. So I don't like raising the prices, but if I have to, I still have to make a living. I'm still there to be a business, so I have to do it. I have to raise the prices because it comes with it, and I've kind of almost conditioned myself to have that mentality now because it's so constantly constantly changing, that I have to raise the prices. And sometimes I lower them. Things change and they come back down. Perfect. And that's what I'm still giving you that product. I'm just keeping my margins where I want them to be, and everything like that. It's tough, man.
It is. I just went through that myself.
It's difficult. There's so many variables in the restaurant industry that nobody realizes. Okay, you get that guacamole, great. Avocados went up, but guess what else went up? The cups I put them in, the oil that I use to fry those chips in, everything else went up. So you could be like, well, I can buy 2 avocados for this and this, okay. But what about your takeout container? What about your oil that you're frying the chips in? What about the employee who I just have to pay more because the market is higher?
Right.
There's so many variables that have a decision into raising that price that I and it's not like avocados went up yesterday. Oh, they're going up. I bite the bullet for months, to let it balance out. I was like, okay, maybe this is just a wave. That's normal. Things happen. But I ride that out. I'm like, that's it. I give it 6-7 months, and I'm like, that's it. I can't anymore. It has to go up.
Wow.
Yeah, so we've gotten to the point that my menus don't have prices on it. You scan the QR code. So the digital menu at the restaurant does. Yeah. I can easily adjust it from my POS. I adjust the screens, and that's just the market we're in now. I'm not McDonald's. I'm not these fast food guys that lock their prices in for decades. It's not. We're a small business, and it's the only way to do it. I feel like that was one of the best things I've ever done because I was constantly buying $5,000 worth of menu and then throwing them out 3 months later when I had to raise prices for 25 cents on a menu item. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right.
So I was like, there has to be a solution. The only solution was no pricing on the menu. Scan the QR code for the updated pricing.
That makes total sense, though.
Yeah, and I haven't had anybody complain about it.
No, that's like the one thing that I guess a lot of people don't tend to understand or are afraid to do because I just went through it. I just raised my pricing, and it was so scary, bro.
It's scary.
It is super scary.
Very.
And people will drop off right away. But I think it's just one of those things where it's like, it's like Indiana Jones Part 3. When I don't know if you've seen that movie, but with Sean Connery, and you have to take that first step towards God, and you have to just believe that you're going to be okay. And you take that first step and you do land on that brick, you're not going to fall to your death.
Right.
You need to just go, you know what? You have to believe in yourself, believe in your product, and just know that people are going to leave because they are penny pinching and it's not for them.
Right.
But if they want the best they're going to get, they have to pay for it and know that quality is so good. And it's so true because, man, listen, you can drop money really quick in your place, but you never feel bad about it.
Right.
I never do. I go in there and it's just me and maybe Will or just me and Dom, and we drop a few dollars. But you know what, man? Damn, this shit is just so good.
Thank you.
It trumps everything.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate that. That's really humbling. And that's where consistency comes into play. Mm-hmm. I tell my guys all the time, they're paying this much for it. I'm telling you, I'll open a random box and be like, why is there, not enough cilantro? Why is there too much cilantro? Or I'll remake an entire box of something just because, there's not enough product. Like my guys now, my cooks are good now, but at the beginning I'd be like, there's not enough, protein in there, or there's this, and it's just consistency, and like I drove it into them. So no matter who's making what, it all looks the same.
How long do you think it takes to drive that consistency home?
Oh man, on an individual?
Yeah, because okay, you have I know you have the gentleman. I wish
Ray.
I knew his name. His name's Red.
Ray.
Ray?
Yeah.
Like, he knows me. I know him. I always go, what's up, bro? What's up?
Yeah.
And I feel like I see him when I don't see you.
Yep.
So how, and maybe he's a special case, but how long before you go home knowing I'm okay?
I think Jess and Ray are my right hand guys in the kitchen. I don't know, man. It's tough because everybody learns on a different learning curve.
Sure.
So I don't know. It's hard. Some people take a week, 2 weeks. Some people take a couple months.
And where do you think the cutoff point is, though?
For me, I have I'm going to be honest with you. I have very low tolerance with that. Mm-hmm. Now, I used to be more patient when we were slower, but now all I can hire is experienced people. I used to be like, you know what? I'll train you. It's cool. And now I just need experience, man, just because we are so high volume out of a tiny little place. Nobody realizes what we're doing out of this tiny little used to be 2-car garage spot. That Jess and Ray jumped on at a really good time. It was kind of like we're about to get busy, kind of. So they had a little bit of time to kind of slowly ease into it. But we scared cooks off, man. Cooks that have worked at big boy places that they come in and they're like, what the hell is this? And all we have is one flat top, the size of this table.
I know.
And
yeah.
We're just sardines and that. It's just, they're like, what the hell? And we're just cranking shit out. And they're like, okay, I'll be back tomorrow. And they're not back tomorrow.
They never come back.
And Jess and Ray crush it, man. They are tanks in the kitchen. They're one of very few people in my life that I've actually ever worked side by side with that can keep up. They're nuts.
How do you value vibe and experience? For me lately, I got this guy, Will. He's doing really well. I love him as a person. His vibe is great. How much do you value that over maybe the experience factor?
A lot. Kitchen morale is massive. We work in an industry where it's very toxic. What I mean by that is very, very angry, very, it's just bad. I've worked in a lot of restaurants where it's just bad, man, bad.
Yeah, I never hear you guys yell.
No. I was a different person in my previous job as far as in the kitchen. And before I went into this, I was like, we're changing that. We're changing that, and we're not going to do that. Because I left, I was like, what didn't I like? What didn't I like about where I was? And why did you decide to open a business? Why? Just it sucked. It just the kitchen morale was just horrible, and it was just bad. Everybody hated each other. Just it was not good. You're still going to get that. You're still going to get heads bumping together and stuff like that. But overall, I take care of my employees. Try to stay as positive as I can no matter what. Even where we're busy, we stay focused. Nobody's angry, nobody's throwing stuff. And it's just working in kitchens, you would kind of understand that it's not good. A lot of kitchens are not good. So vibe is huge. Your demeanor and the way you present yourself and speak to others is massive to me.
Is that how you set the tone?
Yep, absolutely.
I wonder that because you're such a very just laid back dude. You take care of your business, but you never, at least I've never seen, you seem ever disheveled. No, I try to keep my composure, man. Even in I work very well under pressure. I thrive in that. I thrive in chaos, in kitchen chaos. That's my forte. So I love it, man. And that's why I love the food truck, man. When we're a festival, we're doing a massive catering drive, and it's just, you just made 2,000 tacos in 2 hours. That's wild shit to me. I love that. And that's what I live for. It takes me 2 hours to make the 2 I'm eating.
Yeah, right. But it's that's keeping it together not only helps you, obviously, but it helps everybody around you. If you're freaking out, throwing shit, or panicking and disheveled, nobody else is going to know how to read off of that. What am I supposed to do to help you? You know, and delegating it comes with that too. You know, like I delegate really well, especially when we're busy. You know I can pick up who's good at where in certain times of peak hours. You know, if I know X person is good here, you're doing that. You know, I'll delegate that. But it's about how you delegate too. You know, like do this. You know, that's not how it goes. Every single thing I ask for, please and thank you.
Please and thank you will take you so far.
But it's just it sounds like minuscule and things like that.
But people don't do it.
Yeah, like even to my cooks, no matter who it is, can you please get that? Or I need an order of this, please, or can you do this, please? And just that
stems from our parents.
Yeah.
All day.
Yep. So yeah, I mean that and making, as far as vibe goes, making, you know, a good work environment. I try to do everything I can for my kitchen guys, like to make their lives easier, like putting a walk-in cooler. We got new equipment, like different equipment that we like to do our job better, more efficient, while making your job not technically easier. I mean, it is easier, but more comfortably for you to work in.
Right.
Like a lot of odds and ends. You know, I'm always constantly upgrading our stuff. You know, Jason from Core Health is always saying, man, I always see you moving a cooler or something all the time, moving stuff around every time we're here. I was like, I know, man. I know. I was like, it can always be done better. And sometimes my guys kind of get a little irritated by it, but it's just how I am, man. Like trying the best and most efficient thing we can do, like especially in the dining room or the kitchen, you know, adding our kiosks in, trying to be ahead of the curve, trying to be ahead of small businesses as far as what they're not willing to do. I'll push that button.
Yeah.
I'll push it, and if it fails, then cool. You know, whatever. I don't mind. I don't care that it didn't work. But if it worked, then we're the first little guy to make it work.
Yeah, it's true, because you know, failing is not such a bad thing. You just learn something, bro.
Yeah.
Then you move on to the next thing.
Yep.
You know, so you make the best tacos in the world. You started with a trailer.
Yeah.
You moved into food truck. You have a brick and mortar. You're kicking ass on that end. What's next for Erik and Comālli, bro? Like, I mean, what else is there to conquer? Man,
there's a lot, man. There's a really cool concept project I'm trying to do, but there's no property to do it on. It's difficult. I've been trying to do really cool stuff. You know, I don't necessarily just want, we need a bigger place. But at the same time, I'm like, it's this demon I'm fighting, whether it's like, do I want bigger and kind of deal with that? It's a lot, you know, it's a lot now. Dealing with the big restaurant with like a liquor license and stuff, that's a different animal, man. That's a big boy animal. And you're almost sometimes making about the same amount of money too, because it takes a lot more hands, a lot more everything to do that. And sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this awesome project. I know I am. And I'm like, do I really want to? You know, do I really want to deal with a liquor license? Do I really want to deal with that? You know, I have kids. It's a lot, man. I am enjoying now. This year I really enjoyed being able to do more outside of work. And it was great. It was great. And like, of course we had our busiest months where like this week I worked like 9 days in a row, which is cool. I mean, I'm fine with that. I love that. But it was nice also not to be able to do that also. You know, it was nice to go on vacation, you know, multiple vacations, not just one that you squeeze in somehow. I was able to enjoy a lot. And I think that I value that a little more now that I'm getting older, but
no, for sure.
So I don't know. I don't know, man. There's so much that I want to do, so much cool shit that I want to do. And the culinary, like in the culinary aspect of the restaurant, there's so much cool stuff that I want to do that I can do. Like I almost pulled the trigger on, you're actually the first one to know outside of the restaurant, but I was going to pull the trigger on closing Sundays and doing Mexican style brunch by reservation only, and doing like a table service and everything like that. We're going to change the whole vibe on the inside just for Sundays, like do some really cool stuff. And I'm just like, I like my Sundays, and I'm good. But it was like we can still sneak that stuff in, like those enchiladas that
Yeah.
we did. Like we just snuck those in, and people loved them, man. They were great. But that was gonna be a brunch menu and things like that. But I'm like, I'll just sneak that stuff in.
But that's what makes it special because it's not available every day.
That's right. Like
So when it happens, you're just like, boom.
that's another thing my guys hate, the exclusivity thing. I only release it the morning of. I never have my menu leading up to it like, oh, come get this. Nope. I'll never tell you to come get it. Never will post anything like that. It's always like, here it is. You want it? Great. If you don't, more for us to eat. That's the way I look at it. But man, like Ray, he makes the birria tacos. That's his recipe. He kills it, man. He kills it. And like, that's the favorite thing that I have is I let my guys do some stuff too that they want to try out. Like Jess made a soup last year. It was a green chili soup. That was fucking killer.
I had it. I remember that.
That was killer. She crushed it on that. And like mom will make something or, you know, or I'll make something or one of my prep girls will make something. And it's just like, done, let's do it. We make some cool stuff. So, you know, in that aspect, I'm pretty happy that I have that freedom to do that. But I mean, I just wish I could do some cool stuff in like a bigger kitchen. Like there's a lot of equipment that we don't have that I wish we could. So like I really like I'm on that fence that I want to do something, but do I?
Is it because of you're trying to just maybe? Is it because you really want to accomplish something, or because maybe you're just trying to change the view that you have?
I want to accomplish something. I know what I want the brand to be. Where I want to be and with the brand. I have an alternative if I don't open another place. Not another place, a bigger style place. Or it's like franchise out, kind of, for lack of a better term. It's not really franchising out. It's just like multiple locations. But I want to do that from within. I want to do that, like give it to my top guy. Be like, this is your spot now. You know, go open another place, establish it. Top guy, here's your spot now. You know, so in the restaurant industry, nobody ever really gives a shit about you. So that's kind of a way to appreciate your employee. Let them make money, you know. Thank you for making me money. Your turn.
Wow.
You know,
How far out you think that is? If you think you want to go that route.
12 months.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I always love that you got something fucking cooking in that brain of yours, bro.
Always, man. Yeah, I mean, we're always doing something. Like our catering is huge, man. Our catering has blown. Like nobody sees that. Like we rarely advertise that. Like we that's a low key thing that has been exploding over the last like 8 months. Like we do a lot. That's why I got that catering van. You know.
Yeah, I saw that.
That catering van is a blessing. Like we have that. It's like a Swiss Army knife, man. That thing is so cool. I have it set up on the inside. We can set up your catering in 15 minutes.
Wow.
In and out, and with huge spread, you know. And it's again making it easy when you call me. When you call me, what proteins you want? Done. We'll take care of the rest. Simple as that. I'll email you an invoice. That's it. You don't have to give me your card over the phone. You don't have to come and pay cash. You don't have. I will never meet half my people I do my stuff for, and people love it. I do very, if any, little advertising on catering.
It's funny because Jill said that the other day. We were driving by, we were going to Kimberton Foods to check it out. We saw your taco truck and the catering truck, and Jill was like, he's got a catering truck now? I'm like, yeah, it doesn't surprise me. It's Erik.
Yeah,
he's got something.
Catering has been huge, and that's like, yeah. So, I mean, every location that I open, I want to open it as a package deal, like catering, food truck, and brick and mortar. You know, that's like it's lucrative. It's lucrative for any potential investor. It's you know, and I'm trying to be removed in 3-4 years. Not like let my business go, but like I don't want to work the business. Should I say?
That's everybody's. That's all of our aspirations.
Yeah, but I'm close. I'm pretty close. I'm excited for it. There's a lot of cool stuff that I want to do, but I think I just need to be patient. Like I just want it now. I just want to open now, and pull the trigger on what I want to do before somebody else does. But I'm like, who cares?
Who's gonna replicate you, bro?
Yeah,
You know, often imitated,
yeah.
never duplicated.
We try. I mean, I also like that. I also like that whole feel that it's just one little spot off the strip. I love that. I always wanted to open that. Those are my favorite spots. Like my favorite ramen place in New York is this like alley that's dingy and just like you walk in, you're like, am I going to eat this food? And you're like, my God, this is the best. And there's nothing that can compare.
Yeah.
And little things like that. And I just want to be that.
Absolutely.
I just want to be that spot that everybody doesn't even care. Like everybody else is just like, man, it's just off the strip. But if you know, you know.
Oh, you're that spot, dude.
Yes, that's
I mean,
all I ever wanted to be.
You know, it got to a point where people were making fun of me. Like my buddy Tony was like, Fred, there's more to life than tacos. Like, because I was like, where you want to go for lunch? He's like, there's more to life than tacos, Fred. He's like, there's a million places. I'm like, I guess, you know, but when they're good.
Yeah. I don't know. And like the other thing I want to do is I wanted to create like a cool vibe, like a restaurant. There's only so much I can do in a small spot we're at now, but like I want a patio. I want like, there's so much cool things we can do. Where Kimberton is at now, actually, I looked at, and I was like, this is way too big. Yeah, but I was like that. I looked at that, and I just need some cool, creative, open space to do some wild stuff. But I'm just not sure. I'm not sure if I want to take that on yet. Like, it's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to be doing something else in like 2-3 years, I don't know.
Yeah.
You
No,
know?
I mean, I'll still be in Comālli. It's just I want to do like there's a couple cool little projects not even related to Comālli that I want to do with food. But we'll see.
Cool, man.
We'll see what happens.
Well, dude, thanks for coming in short notice.
Oh, no, thank you,
it's
man.
Literally, like I texted Eric last night for you out there, just saying, "Hey, had a last minute cancellation. Want to talk some shit?" And he was down.
I'm always down, man. This is awesome. I love sitting down with you all the time.
Yeah, dude, it's a pleasure to have you here. It's a pleasure to, man. I feel very privileged to have you as a friend and to watch you grow. Because I mean, that's the greatest, is when you can meet people and make friends and watch them succeed. That's like, I mean, it's a high for me to just watch people, good people that respect what they do and don't fuck around, succeed. It's really not rocket science, man. You just got to have the balls and the patience to just do it the right way.
Absolutely, man. It's a pleasure always sitting down with you, Freddie. And, you know, you're a great person, you're a great friend, and it's always humbling to be here.
Hey, thank you for checking out this episode of Fred Talk. If you dug what you saw, make sure you like and subscribe so you never miss another episode. You can also check us out online at fredtalk.tv. Don't forget, your Uncle Freddie loves you. Peace.